Once you've filed and the soon-to-be-X has been served, the next step is to start sharing information. The court requires that you exchange what is called the Declaration of Disclosure. It's done twice. The first is called a preliminary declaration, and then later is the final declaration. The Declaration of Disclosure is a statement to the court that you have given to the other side two forms: the Schedule of Assets and Debts and a current income and expense declaration, and a statement about various opportunities, which is not a form, but I have an example for you to look at. If you qualified for the joint petition for summary dissolution, you can fill out the joint disclosures in the workbook and exchange these. If you don't qualify for that, the Schedule of Assets and Debts is a 4-page form that lists all the various types of assets that a person can own. It also lists all the debts that you owe. The form must be completed, and for each asset, you must tell the other side whether you think the asset or debt is community property, meaning it was purchased or incurred during your marriage, or separate property, which means it is something you had before marriage or was given to you as a gift as an individual, an inheritance, or was bought after the divorce was filed. Debts work the same way. Credit card debt can be both separate or community. It can be during marriage, after marriage. Debt from before marriage or after marriage. Loans from friends and family are also either community or separate. The only loans that are not are school loans, which are the student's responsibility. You need to attach various documents to the Schedule of Assets and Debts. For example, if you list a car, you need to provide a copy of the car's title or registration. The same thing goes for real estate with deeds, bank accounts with bank statements, stock brokerage account statements, credit card statements, tax returns, life insurance policies. The Income and Expense Declaration, often referred to as an I&E, is another 4-page form which needs to be filled out completely. Each line must have some entry in it, even if it's a zero or not applicable. Otherwise, the other side and the court doesn't know if you just skipped it. If you are an employee, the I&E also must have your last 2 months' pay stubs. If you are self-employed, you need to attach the last 2 years' profit and loss statements or the Schedule C from last year's tax return. Additional statements also need to be created. That's a form that we're going to make available to you. The Declaration of Disclosure also requires that you identify material facts about the value of community property assets, debts, and any investment or business opportunities that you're aware of. This is a form that we provide. A statement of all material facts and information regarding valuation of all assets that are community property or in which the community has an interest. Section 4, statement of all material facts and information regarding obligations for which the community is liable. And Section 5, an accurate and complete written disclosure of any investment opportunity or other income-producing opportunity presented since the date of separation that results from any investment, significant business, or other income-producing opportunity from the date of marriage to the date of separation. Once you've prepared all those forms, you have to tell the court that you've shared them with the other side. And yes, there's a form for that. That's the declaration regarding service of the Declaration of Disclosure. It's a very strangely named form, but it's very important to file with the court because the declaration regarding service of the Declaration of Disclosure tells the court that you have complied with sharing information about your marital assets and debts with the other side, that you have effectively shown them your cards, and that you are ready to move forward to divide the assets and debts and have your marriage dissolved. If both parties have appeared in the divorce, they must each file this form after they have complied with the disclosures. If the respondent has not filed a response and you are the petitioner and are moving forward with the case as a default proceeding, you still must file this form with the court so that they know you have disclosed to the other side the assets and debts that you are asking for. I'll explain what a default is in the next movie. This declaration regarding service of the Declaration of Disclosure and Income and Expense Declaration must be filed with the court for the petitioner. This says that you have at least once shared all the information with the other side. As you get close to a judgment, you have to file also a final declaration of disclosure. Some people mark both boxes on the form and use the one disclosure for both preliminary and final.